morning. Hello. Second day in this beautiful anchorage. It's quite rolly. Nick's doing some vacuuming.
I want to break free.
Went ashore last night, didn't take the cameras. Just had a really nice evening. We had a lovely cocktail bar, which I'm sure we'll be going to again tonight. And had a really nice Euros.
Living the dream.
Living the dream. Boat's filthy. Definitely needs a decent clean. Expecting kind of 30 knot gusts, which is, you know, what we had yesterday essentially coming in. So yeah, the main issue isn't really the wind, it's the swell coming into the anchorage, which I suppose I'm not too surprised about looking at the chart, but I just wasn't expecting it. But it does make it for a rolly anchorage, that's for sure.
The rolliest we've ever been.
Not the rolliest we've ever been to. Yeah, it's bearable. That's what I'll say, it's bearable.
I'm Terysa, this is Nick, and this is Ruby Rose 2, our floating home. If you want early access and ad-free videos, plus loads of other benefits, please consider joining our Patreon community. And for additional lifestyle and technical content, including exclusive podcasts, sign up to our Substack newsletter. Otherwise, please consider subscribing to our channel and leave a comment because we love to hear from you. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoy this episode.
These guys next to us got here, I think this morning, and they've obviously decided to bail. And I don't blame them. I mean, I'm getting a bit annoyed with how rolly it is in here, but it is nothing compared to how the monohulls are dealing with it. They are just flying all over the place. It might be a bit uncomfortable for us, but a lot of the monos today have left. I'm not surprised. If I was in a monohull, I would be cracking the shits right now leaving. Even actually for us here on this cat, I'm like, oh, it's not ideal, but it's starting to gust kind of high 20s, 27, and I don't want us to move because it just means that we have to find somewhere else with good holding and like trust that the holding is good. And I think when you're settled somewhere and the winds start to blow through, you kind of already tested out the anchor. We've been here for like 24 hours now. We can see on our track that our anchor is like solid, so we don't want to move. And plus the town ashore is super nice. We didn't take the camera last night because we just decided to, I don't know, go without the camera. But we found this really nice bar and we had a beer each, and we just ordered like a beer and it came in a bottle. And as soon as a beer comes in a bottle here in Greece, I'm like, this is a fancy bar, not just an average kind of everyday taverna. And they have really cool music, and we ended up staying there for like 2 hours, and we actually got quite pissed because the beer was quite strong. And then we both moved on to cocktails, and yeah, it was just really good vibes. We didn't want to leave. So gusting kind of 27, what I've seen. Not too bad. Otherwise, at the moment, it's 15, 16 knots. And the wind isn't really the problem. It's the swell. The swell is just coming in. And then I think that that's combined with a little bit of wake from ferries passing kind of in this direction. Because every now and again, it gets really rolly. Here's where we anchored the first time. We got told to move from there because we were in the path of the ferry, which I do not believe, because there's another boat right where we were. And in fact, there were several boats anchored there from yesterday until this morning. A couple of boats had left, and the ferry's come like 3 times and we haven't been anywhere near it. So anyway, we got told to move. It's fine. And then we tried to anchor here. That was our first attempt. We dragged. I think we were right near the shore and it was a bit rocky. And then third time's a charm. Now, time to go ashore and just enjoy an evening on land. Putting the camera down so I can focus on my task, which is tying the dinghy up to this very dodgy dinghy dock. Although I'm grateful they have a dinghy dock at all, frankly.
You're doing the Caribbean, you push them to one side, you get up there forward.
And the dinghies get pushed off anyway, at least. Very masculine animal. Like you said. I didn't even film our Euros, even though it was exceptional. But on that particular occasion, I lined up for about half an hour, even though I was only third in line, because the people at the front ordered about 20 Euros. But anyway, the Euros was very good. We ate it, you know, on the hoof, and now heading back to the boat. Still a fair bit of swell in the anchorage, for sure. God, this light makes me look like I'm ill. Yeah, wind's about 15 knots or so, and every now and again it gusts mid-20s. So it's kind of been the same for the last couple of days we've been here, maybe a bit windier today. Forecast definitely said today was going to be very strong winds. Gusts up to about, I think, 30 knots. Don't think we've quite had that. But I'm just talking to everyone about the weather. But I think overnight tonight is supposed to be when the wind is at its strongest. So we'll see. But yeah, hopefully we'll get a good night's sleep. I think if we wake up, I don't know, I've kind of told Nick, I've informed Nick that if we wake up tomorrow and, you know, by mid-morning the anchorage is still very swelly, like very rolly, maybe we should consider moving for tomorrow night, if it like affects us being able to sleep. But if it's like this, then it should be okay, and we can stay another day. So we'll see what the anchorage is doing tomorrow. I'm not ready for my close-up.
Disconcerting that there's no anchor chain you can see. I actually did not see what advantage that confers. But look at the coaching for that. Like when the deck, if you take that bimini down, that's just a completely flat boat.
Not bad. I mean, they're still showing their dinghy behind them.
And our dinghy's better than this.
Actually, it is. Right.
Bye-bye, Wally B.
It's 8 o'clock in the morning, and yeah, it's rolly night again. But here in the anchorage, I mean, it's 23 knots at the moment. That's just a gust, so it's not particularly windy in here. I can see white caps out there. I think it's probably at least 20 knots, probably gusting quite a bit more out there. But yeah, in here it's really just a matter of the swell coming in from the wind, the Meltemi. Stop it! Why?
Anyway, yes, so the super yacht left. And now it's 20 past 8 in the morning and neither of us slept well. So yeah, poking the bear.
Yeah, exactly. Nick's favourite activity. I'm a little bit more awake now. Coffee's kicked in. And it's another beautiful day here in the Cyclades. It is very windy. It's only about, I mean, at the moment it's 10 knots in the anchorage. Literally 3 seconds ago it was 17, 18 knots. But I can see a lot of white caps out. I think we're quite well protected where we are, with the exception of the swell, which we've talked about at length. But nonetheless, the forecast says, and the forecast frankly is, there's about 5 different forecast models. There's, you know, they're from different areas. So for example, the GFS I think is based in the US. The ECMWF or whatever it's called is like a European based one. We use Predict Wind, so Predict Wind have a couple of forecasting models as well. There's a UK based one, so there's quite a few different forecasting models. And one of the things about Predict Wind that we like is that you can actually share, like put 2 side by side so you can directly compare them on the wind map function. But you can see that, and in fact I'll show you, that like they disagree so much in terms of wind strength, not in terms of wind direction, because the wind direction is the same all the time pretty much. But you know, there can be like a 10 knot difference in wind strength, so it can be really hard even like 24 hours out. So it can be really hard to passage plan because you're like, okay, well, you know, sailing 40 miles in 15 to 20 knots is perfect. But if it's like 20 to 30 knots, not so much. So this is an example. This is the forecast for in 2 days' time, so 48 hours from now. There's one that says 16 knots and there's one that says 24 knots. So regardless, we are staying here tonight. We're going to go ashore a little bit later and just have some shore leave. But for now, I'm going to make myself a nice strong cup of tea because I could really do with that caffeine hit. I love that little tea strainer with the cat. But the problem with those ball strainers is that if you're using really fine tea like English breakfast or any kind of black tea, then it just comes out into the cup. Oh well. Well, we got sick of sitting on that rolly boat, so we decided to come ashore and go for a walk. And not something we normally do because it's usually very hot, but because of this like incessant wind, it's actually quite cooling. The wind is coming directly off the sea because there's not any major like land masses anywhere kind of directly north of us. There's Naxos, but the wind's coming from a slightly different direction. And so the wind is actually quite cooling. It's lovely, it's really beautiful. So it's not too hot to be out and about even though it's the middle of the day. And anyway, Nick's found something to scavenge. I thought it was just a windmill, but it's a hotel. Or it was a windmill and now it's a hotel. How cool. That'd be great. I love Mediterranean gardens. They're just so beautiful. Look at this bougainvillea. Look at these beautiful flowers. That's a rubber plant. My mum's got one of those in a little tiny pot in her house. Jesus, hang on, I have to take a photo of this, Mum. Well, walking back we just stopped and had an orange juice and some eggs, and we got lost. Took a wrong turn somewhere. I think this is actually where we had a gyros last night.